Hi, today I'm going to show you how to play king and pawn battles. We play with the king, who is the most valuable piece on the board, and with 4 pawns. This is the same with both players, so they are equal playing. The idea is to check the king and put the king into checkmate to win. The pawns have to get to the other side of the board to promote their piece to win. The king can move in any direction, but only one space on each turn. To capture, the king moves onto the square of another piece if it's not being defended by its own team. Okay, so we're going to play king and pawn battle. As you can see, we've got the king on the opposite colour because I don't know if you remember from the queen. The queen goes on its own colour, so if it's the black, it will go on a black square. So the king will always go alongside it. And always the king is set up here in this position, and the king will be opposite on the other opponent's pieces. Okay, so we have 4 pawns on each side, and they will be on rows 2 and 7 on the central 4 squares. Okay, so white always starts, and now I'm going to teach you how we check the king with the pawns. It's the same game as pawn chase at the very beginning, except we've got the king to help. Okay, so we're going to start with the white, so we'll move 2. So the first, we're trying to check the king and checkmate it to win with the pawns, and for the king has to take all the pawns to win the game. Okay, so now black's turn, so we'll move here, and then we'll defend that pawn with that, and likewise with mine. The white to move, we'll go here, and I'll defend that pawn here. Okay, so we'll move the king behind, so it's been defended very well by the pawns, and this one will move here. Okay, so we can go forward here, and this one can be captured by the white pawn, which is the next move. So we're going to take here. Thinking in mind, we've got to put the king, the opposite king, in check, or this one in check. So, okay, so we'll move 2 here. Now it's white turn. Okay. Now if I move my king here, I'm moving myself into check, and I don't want that. So I can't move into that square. However, I can move into this square and not be in check, because I can only be in check on the diagonal where I can be captured. Right, now it's white's turn. So white, we can go... Okay, let's move the king in between to be defended by the pawns. Okay, I'm going to move here. Now we're starting to have not many spaces to move where we're reaching. I mean, we're in the center of the board, which is quite an important area for the battle, and we're not having many spaces to move, so we're gonna have to capture the pawns eventually. Okay, now it's white's turn, so they can capture the black. And now I shall move I can't move the king, not to this side or this side, because I'm going to be in check with this one and this one. And if I move it here, I'm going to be in check with this pawn. So I have to stay here really, unless we can capture the pawn with the king. Okay, now we can move the white pawn because we're going to try and get to the end. Also, the king cannot move here next to this king. It's an illegal move. It's not possible. That's in the rules. We can't move in this. We can't be within 1 square of the other king. Okay, so that's one of the rules. We have to use our other pieces to capture the king. Okay, so we will move the black next. So, well, we'll move here. Okay, so now the pawn will take and the king is in check. Now I can take the pawn because it's not being defended and I'm not going to be threatened by any other pawn. Okay, so that can go off. Okay, so now it's white's turn. Go here. And I could move here. And then here, the white pawn. So white has won because they've managed to get the pawn on the other side to promote to a higher piece, normally the queen. So have a go with your partners. Take it in turns. Have 2 or 3 games. Do perhaps the best of 5 games or 10 games if you've got plenty of time, and see how you get on. Enjoy.